friends, I was on an unnamed social media platform, and I saw a post that infuriated me. The post was a hand that was kind of hard for them to count, so they asked for help. That wasn't the problem. Not the I'm always happy to help people count hands. It's hard to count. That's probably the hardest part of cribbage, so it's okay to do that. I'll tell you in a bit, though, what made me so mad. So let's get into that. So here's the hand. We have in our hand, and this is a hand, not a crib, we have in our hand the 6 of diamonds, the 7 of diamonds, the 8 of diamonds, the 9 of diamonds, and then the cut card or starter card is the 8 of spades. So why don't you pause the video here for a second and try to count it for yourself. How many points is this hand worth? If you came up with 20, you are correct. And here's why. Let's walk through it. Now, this process, I'm using these steps I talk about in my other video here. It'll pop up at the eye, and I'll pin it as well. So, when this video is over, you can go watch that, and it'll help you with the counting too. Okay, so first, 15s. Well, we have the 6 and the 9. That's 15 for 2. We have the 7 and 8 of diamonds. That's 15 for 4. We have the 7 of diamonds and the 8 of spades. That's 15 for 6. All right, 15's done. Now I count runs next, but you can do it differently. So if I'm counting runs, I'm going to start. Let's start with all the diamonds ones. So we're at 6 before. Now we have a run for 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Now we're going to swap those 8s out, and we get to count the run again. 11, 12, 13, 14. Sweet. Next are the pairs. We have a pair of 8s for 16. And now we do our special ones, things like flushes and knobs. Well, there's no jack, so there's no knobs, but there is a flush. We have 4 diamonds in our hand, and because our whole hand is one suit, it's a flush, and you get 1 point per card, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 plus 16 is 20, so the answer is 20. Yay! So, kind of tricky. I could see how you could get lost in that, and that's perfectly fine if you do. 20 is perfectly fine, and I saw quite a few 20s in these comments on this social media platform, and then I saw some 16s, and that's okay too. Flushes are easily missed, and in fact, if this was in the crib, it would be 16, because in the crib, the rule is your flushes have to have all 5, the 4 in the crib plus the starter card in order to count as a flush. And this, my friends, this is where my head started to explode. I have no problem with people making mistakes. I have no problem with people miscounting or asking for help counting. I have zero. We all make mistakes. I've made mistakes in grassroots play before where I go to count and I'm like, wait, that's not right. Or they tell me I was wrong. And that's whatever. It happens. But what was so frustrating to me where it was this opened up the debate on flushes and when flushes count and what they count for and that kind of thing. And people went back and forth with me and other people, back and forth and back and forth, and it's just, there's no room for debate there. If you play at home, where your flush, if you have a crib, and you have the 4 of the crib, if those are all the same suit, and you want to count that as a flush for 4, if you play that at home, I really don't care what you do at home. But that's not the official rules. And so for people to be like, no, that's not right, it's like, no, it is right. It is 100% right. Those are the official rules of cribbage. It's in the Hoyle rule book that set that out there. It's with the ACC. We'll look at that in a second. And I really don't care what you do at home. But what frustrates me is when you try to argue that I'm wrong, because I know I'm not wrong because I'm looking at the rules. And all the apps out there that follow the rules, which most of them do, will use this rule, and that's where people get frustrated. And I see people post like, oh, this app stinks because they don't count flushes right. No, you don't count flushes right. Let's look at this, for example. If you don't believe me that this hand is worth 20 points if it's a hand, which it is in this case, 20 points if it's a hand, and 16 points if it's a crib. So let's look at that. I'm over here on Cribbage Pro's online cribbage calculator hand score, and it's nice. You get a little drop down menu here. You select the card value, and then you select your suit, which is important in this case. So I put the 8 of spades, 6, 7, 8, 9 of diamonds as the hand was, and I clicked score, and it counts it for me, and it shows that it is 20 in total. okay? And they even spell it out for you, which is nice. We have the 6 and 9, 15 for 2, 7 and 8 of diamonds, 15 for 4, 7 and 8 of spades, 15 for 6. And then they go into their pairs, which is fine, 2 of a kind, 8 and 8, and then 2 runs for 4, and then a flush for 4. Just like I did in a slightly different order. But now watch this. If I switch to crib and I score, it is now 16 because you do not get the flush in the crib unless it's all 5 cards. I talk about this in my flushing video, but it's amazing how many people still miss that. And it's okay if you do, but don't try to argue that it's not the way it is, because it is the way it is. I'm hopping over here to another cribbage calculator. This one's a little bit different because you have to put in the numbers and the letters. So this is the cribbage calculator. I put that in there. I said it was the hand, and it came back as 20 points total. Reasoning, 15, 15, 15. Run a 4, pair, and a flush of the 4 card. Aha, all right? They count it the same way I do, which is cool. And you know what? It doesn't really matter the order in which you count it as long as you stick to a specific order, okay? But now if I click crib, boom, it goes down to 16. Why? Because the flushes don't count in the crib unless all 4 and the starter card, the cut card, is in the same suit. Okay, and I just got one more thing to show. This is in the American Cribbage Congress's official tournament rulebook, where they define terms and what points are worth. And if you look here, let's see if I can highlight it. Nope, I can't. But if you, no, that turned the page. If you look here where it says flush, through the magic of editing, it'll zoom in. Bloop. 4 cards of the same suit held in the hand count 4 points. 5 cards of the same suit, including the starter count, count 5 points in the hand or crib. Notice that they left out 4 points of the same suit held in the hand. They didn't say hand or crib. They just said in the hand, okay? And then, later on, we can see their scoring chart. This is still in the American Cribbage Congress's official rulebook. Combinations, okay? 4 card flush, only in the hand. Only in the hand. The only in the hand does a 4 card flush exist, okay? And then, like I said, please don't be afraid to ask questions about counting. That is a very important part of the game, especially when you're starting it or even after you've started it, because the more you count, the faster you can calculate and make better decisions. But what you should not do is argue tooth and nail when you have this bulk of evidence working against you that you're wrong. And you can't just dismiss it and say, well, that's not how I play. I really don't care how you play at home. That's fine. But you are also probably the same people who refuse to play online or on certain apps because they count flushes wrong. It's not wrong, and it was really frustrating that people were like that, and I had to take a break from it, and it's just confusion. So I am on a mission to eliminate that confusion, I guess, with these flushes. So I hope that you kind of enjoyed this video. I hope that I didn't get too crazy. If I did, comment and let me know below. But make sure you subscribe because I have other videos coming out that are fun gameplay stuff. And if you want some help with your counting and scoring more correctly every time, well, then you got to watch this video. And we'll see you next time. Keep on playing.